Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight. Headlines, we have the request for an extension of the tuberculosis subvention is in Health IGAD, the strategy 2020-2025. For the national scene, Uganda, the government suspends the activities of 54 NGOs for the country. Welcome to our newsroom. The World Fund and IGAD, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, organized a workshop to validate the request for the extension of the multi-country intervention for the fight against tuberculosis, as well as among refugees living in the member country of the IGAD, and was held from 19 to 20 August 2021 at the Palace Campus Key Hotel. The workshop was attended by the IGAD Executive Secretary, Dr. Workneh Gebeyu, and the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab. During these 2 days, all stakeholders in the file of TB control from IGAD members countries and refugee agencies had discussions on the continuation of the validation of the grant application, which will start in April 2022 until March 2025. The purpose of this consultation on the extension application was to gain a common understanding of minor changes or modifications and to discuss the current grant intervention to be maintained in the extension area.
Following the invitation letter for multi-country applicants, I am happy to report that IGAD has embarked on preparations for developing the continuation of requests with the broad spectrum of stakeholders. So far, 2 stakeholders' consultations on this subject have been convened. The progress report and the joint review meetings generated from this process have yielded a draft document that captures the continuation requests that will be shared with the national TB programs and sub-recipients. The anticipated grants under the continuation request and the COVID-19 response grant will be essential to the implementation an integrated approach with a focus on TB case notification, treatment success rates, and the control and continuation of COVID-19 in the refugee settlements.
The Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab, welcomed all the participants of the workshop and emphasized that collaboration between the different IGAD countries is essential in the fight against tuberculosis. The second edition of the meeting of young entrepreneurs opened on Thursday afternoon at the Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurship. They are waiting to share experience. This unmissable event, rich in terms of entrepreneurship and innovation, began with a visit to the stands where young nuggets exhibited their productions of various kinds. At each stand, exchanges between the young entrepreneurs and the visitors were opened as they rich in information but especially in inspiration. The objective was to allow the young entrepreneurs to expose their products but also to promote exchanges, and the numerous visitors to the Francophone village. It should be noted that the Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurship, which has become a must, is an incubator of talent and initiative. It is a reservoir of ideas and outbursts for gifted and talented young people. Since its creation, this center aims to accompany and accelerate the growth of businesses in Djibouti. The incubator offers a number of services and efficient tools that allow any project holders to experience and create his business in the best possible conditions. The second part of this event focused on a team of choice undertake his passion. A playad of entrepreneurs from different backgrounds has shared their experiences. In other words, it was about a periodic meeting to offer a framework for sharing best practices, secrets, and resolutions that have enabled young entrepreneurs or business leaders to succeed in their initiative. Experiences as enriching as they were fraught with difficulties were shared with the participants who did not hide their satisfactions according to the testimonies and appreciations made on the richness of the exchanges. Followed very closely by an audience of young people who were fulfilled during this exchange. The exchanges having acquired what was far beyond their expectations. Under the auspices of the Secretary of State for Sports, the Regional Association of Ali Adde, in partnership with the Subdirectorate of Sports, closed yesterday the summer soccer tournament placed under the sign of integration and unity. The tournament was held for a month and included no less than a dozen teams composed of local youth and refugees. The match was very competitive, and the last word went to the local team, which won by a score of 2-0. In addition, the Secretary of State in charge of sports, His Excellency Hassan Mohamed Kamil, the event was attended by several personalities, including the Prefect of the region, Musa Adan Migane, Technical Advisor of the Secretary of Sports, the representative and officials of the Ministry of Decentralization, UNHCR, the Director of ONARS, the Regional Deputy Directors of Sports, Ahmed Musa, as well as senior civil and military officials. At the end of this meeting, the delegation proceeded to the awarding of the trophy to the winning teams of the tournament, as well as the awarding of prizes to the teams that took part in this summer tournament organized by the regional associations of Ali Adde in partnership with the Subdirectorate of Sports, moved by the atmospheres of jubilation that reigned. The Secretary of State, His Excellency Hassan Mohamed Kamil, in his speech did not fail to thank the population for its incredible welcome before congratulating the organizers of the tournament for the quality of work done. At the end of 5 days of intense work, the training aimed at strengthening the knowledge of those responsible for fighting locust invasion ended on Thursday at the Palmere of Ali Sabir. The closing of this training was attended by the prefect of the region, Musa Adam Migane, a representative of the UN Food Agriculture Organization, and several executives of the technicians of the Ministry of Agriculture from the southern regions of Dekhel Arta, Ali Sabir. This training of trainers workshop on the techniques of survey, control, and environmental sanitary monitoring of the desert locusts is a testimony of the coordination of all actors and the synergy of activity for a better impact. In the framework of the fight against smuggling, the National Police detachments of Ali Sabir, and in collaboration with the elements of the customs of Ali Sabir, intercept in the peripheral vicinity of the chief town of Ali Sabir a large quantity of smuggled cat merchandise. The merchandise seized on these occasions was composed of 35 bags of cat weighing for 2,500 kilo of cat, an illicit shipment estimated at some 3 million Djibouti francs. The head of the detachment of the National Police of Ali Sabir, Commander Mahdi Omar Jama, leads since the beginning of this new year's conduct operations and searches of control both inside and outside the city to fight against all forms of illegal trafficking. As for the perpetrators, they will, according to the commanders of the detachment of the National Police of Ali Sabir, refer it to the prosecutors to answer for their action. It is with dismay that we learned the death of the late Ismail Assowe Buh, known as Andeye, in Nairobi on Thursday. The late Ismail Assowe Buh worked as an executive in the Ministry of Justice before being appointed consul in Jeddah. The late Ismail Assowe Buh was appreciated for his generosity. He also participated in the national liberation struggle. The deceased leaves behind him 10 children and 37 grandchildren. He was the grandfather of our colleague Asma Bakar Musa. May God welcome him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, in Uganda, government suspends activities of 45 NGOs for non-compliance Ugandan audit on Friday, August 20. The suspensions with the immediate effect of 54 non-governmental organizations operating in the political, religious, and environmental file for non-compliance with the law, according to the National NGO Offices, which is part of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. These associations were operating without being registered with expired work permit and had not submitted their annual reports and accounts. In a statement, the head of offices, Stephen Okello, called on stakeholders to assist in the implementation of these decisions by ensuring that the organization is concerned with cease operations with immediate effect. Among 54 NGOs, the main civil rights organization Charter 4 and 14 others have been suspended indefinitely. Libya 10 years anniversaries of the liberations of the Libyan capital, a date celebrated by a few dozen Libyans who took to the streets of Tripoli, national flag in hand, on August 2011. The National Transitional Council, the political body Tripoli, and insurgents commandos from Misrata, NATO bombed the city. 3 days later, the rebels claimed to have taken possession of the green square, symbol of the powers of the white Martyrs Square. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.